with Americans on his own terms and in what could be considered a more moderate tone as well. Well, here to discuss that tonight is Chief National Correspondent Ed Henry. Good evening, Ed.
Good to see you, Doug.
So I want to know what the thinking is behind Kellyanne Conway's cryptic tweets and about the Secretary of State position, the potential nomination of Mitt Romney. And then we have Mike Huckabee saying that Romney should make a public repudiation or at least an apology of his attacks on Trump before being offered the job. Does that track with what you're hearing about the transition team's thinking?
It does. A new piece of information I'm hearing tonight from a Trump transition official is that there has been a conversation going on in private, very quiet, of course, about whether or not Mitt Romney should issue some sort of formal or informal apology to President-elect Donald Trump. Does he write a letter? Does he put out a statement of some kind? Because in the words of Mike Huckabee, as you said, he has pointed out on Fox that Mitt Romney didn't just go after Donald Trump's policies. He went after his character. These were direct attacks, calling him a fraud, for example, and a phony. And so if he were to be nominated as Secretary of State, it seems like that's business that needs to be cleaned up. And so from what I'm hearing from this official inside the transition about a possible, and I underline the word possible, apology from Romney, that tells us, it gives us a clue that Romney may be a much more serious contender for Secretary of State than a lot of people assumed at the beginning. Because, of course, if he was not a serious candidate, and there are other names out there, Rudy Giuliani, David Petraeus, Romney wouldn't even be considering an apology. It wouldn't even be broached by anybody unless maybe he really wants this job.
And I know that Eric Erickson of Red State just tweeted recently that he would be considered moderate on the international stage, a reassurance, a calming presence that perhaps Donald Trump might not be. And it's not just Romney who is the outsider in Trump's thinking right now. Nikki Haley, the governor of South Carolina, was a very sharp Trump critic. Does it seem that Trump wants a team of perhaps dissenters around him, or at least not a bunch of yes men?
Yeah, and that's what's getting very interesting about this. Nikki Haley was somebody who was very critical about the Muslim ban, for example, and you would think she would have no place in a Trump administration, and neither would Romney. The fact that in the case of Haley, she's actually been nominated as a U.S. ambassador to the UN, that suggests a change here. But I think it may be an even bigger one, is look what's going on with retired General James Mattis. When Donald Trump went to talk to the New York Times, he signaled real flexibility on a big issue, which is waterboarding, which critics, of course, call torture.